discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, this video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering you a free audiobook with a 30-day free trial membership. All you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/BGUnlocked. The link is in the description below, and now enjoy the video. Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Detective City of Angels. Now, we did the classic mode, spoilers by the way, because we're going to be talking about at least the first case, Blood on the Pier. But they do have two modes. Actually, they have a couple modes, which would be two. They have sleuth mode. This is actually made to be solo or cooperative. Okay. So it basically takes away the role of the Chisel, and each case, I don't want to take it out. Each case basically has kind of like a grid system that'll tell you like what cards to look at and so on and so forth. So if you don't like the role of someone playing like the Chisel or the GM, you can do that. And then they also have where is it? Like they have there's head-to-head mode, so you can play if only playing with two players, one Chisel and one detective, or two. Let's see. Oh, or cooperative version with two detectives. So they have a couple options, because what makes this game unique and different from Detective, Modern Crime Board Game, Sherlock Holmes, and Chronicles of Crime is that it's not cooperative. This is a competitive game. So what do you guys think about that?
I liked and disliked it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat.
I think it's neat, because that's cops. I imagine some cops see it that way. Like, the more cases they solve,
right,
they'll advance their career.
Especially in, like, the 50s.
Oh, yeah. So I think that's thematic. I also don't like it, because I didn't like competing with Kat, because I wanted us to both figure out who did it.
Right. Kat, what do you think?
I felt like it was just weird, because like I could just piggyback off of what Josh was doing, and it's like, oh, I found it out too.
Yeah.
Like there's not enough secrecy that like I can just start copying Josh.
You could.
And figuring it out, because like if I go too far off, I don't know. It's weird. It's interesting. It's definitely a new concept.
I bit my tongue.
Gotcha. Oh, on that side. But it's a new concept, but I don't know. It was just strange.
So here's actually why I very much like the competitive nature of it, and it actually harkens down to the role of the Chisel, because they're basically the heart of the game. So if you're playing the Chisel, you have. So yes, you could easily copy what another detective is doing. It really only works in a 3-player game. You had one person go off of. Whereas, and if there's more detectives, they're going to find more things, and you can be like, oh, I'll go after that person instead of this one. But you could do that. However, what prevents that from happening, or potentially prevents that from being effective, is the responses I choose to give you.
That's also true, yeah.
So if you, he could go, and I can be like, okay, I'll just give him the right answer, because sometimes there were conflicting answers that I was giving you that were the most useful.
Yeah, when we got the one where Dumb's like, he likes girl like hot dog, all this nonsense. I'm like, he can't be this dumb.
Yeah. Well, there was a time whenever you questioned Charlie and you questioned Dee, and I had them rat each other out, and so I could and this is why I was actually at first I didn't like being the Chisel, because all I did was hand you guys stuff, but then I started doing things a little bit different. And I'll explain what I did different that made it fun for me. But yeah, so you could follow him. He could be getting nonsense, and I could be giving you the exact same amount of nonsense. Or I could be giving you the right answers. Or I can give you nonsense, and he could choose not to challenge, take it for face value, then I could. You could challenge, and I'm like, here you go. He's actually right. And now you have leverage on them, which means okay, now I'm going to ask him about the body. Boom, he has to tell me the right answer. So you could do that, and it would affect either one of you differently just by following. Here's why I like the role of the Chisel, and it happened whenever Kat's first guess came to me, and it was kind of like, because you have a difficult decision to make. Do I want to be difficult, and just constantly keep because I had 4 leverage on you. At any time I could just be like, nope, you can't ask that. Nope, you can't snitch or anything. But what I really, really liked is this game gives the Chisel the opportunity to help people out and hurt others. So in a game like this, where Josh is particularly good at these kinds of games, whereas they're not your strength, there were times where I would give you the right answer to let you have fun and give you a chance, and I made it harder on him. Now, whether you like that or not comes down to personal preference, but I liked it because it's like, well, whenever you gave me your answer, you got none of them right. And so I was like, okay, so she isn't gonna like this game if I use these leverages against her.
Yeah, if you had made it purposely impossible, I would have been like, I don't want to play this again. Like,
So,
this is not a good
so knowing that, a lot of times, I gave you the right answer. Even whenever you asked the same thing that he did, I gave him false answers, lies and misdirections, and some of them he took, and others he challenged and still got the right answer. But he had to work harder for it, and at the end of the end result was you both were right. You both got it.
Yeah.
Whereas before,
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
I do like that.
I very much like that. Because in another game, it would just be sorry. Yeah, you don't fucking get it.
Sherlock Holmes, I did it in one.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if those games were competitive, there wouldn't be any of that.
Oh, yeah.
Make it easier on me and harder on them. There's none of that. It's sorry, you're just out of your league here. This game lets the Chisel be like, and this was an easy case. And at what point did you guys figure out who it was?
Right after I picked. So my first guess, I picked D as the murderer, and then.
Oh, so we were different.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
because as soon as I realized how actually dumb is, I'm like, he'd do this.
She had a pretty good answer.
When I said I thought it was gonna be a Lenny situation, I thought Dumb accidentally killed her because he saw Sally threatening his brother, and that he might have had a gun. So he, being not understanding of what murder is, he just wanted to protect his brother and shot her. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
It also helped because after she guessed and she said, I thought it would be a Lenny situation, I'm like, it wasn't him.
Man, that's another complaint I have.
Okay.
I don't like not being able to talk to Josh because I say things like that, or if he's has a certain reaction, you can't be stone-faced. You have to be stone-faced, but I don't play like that because very much all of my facial expressions are typically how I feel in the moment. And yeah,
I tried my best to not even look over this way.
That's a valid complaint because typically, which this game probably wasn't that fun to do a run through of, because a lot of it is you, instead of if we did Sherlock or Detective or Chronicles, which we've done all of them. Actually, Sherlock's not on the channel. I deleted all of them.
Really?
I took off the campaign because I hated it.
That's fair.
And so that's why I was like, I want to do another one because it's cooperative. But you have that conversation going. So for a recording, it's constant, back and forth.
Yeah.
And here
this was really silent, contemplating.
I thought, I would read this stuff to you. Yeah. But then if I read something, then she would know. And so it is a lot of me being quiet, handing you you're literally
it's a quiet game. It's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now, it can come from the back and forth of me, which I probably didn't really do that good of a job, is whenever you went to challenge, I could have been like, really? He seems like he's telling the truth. I could have tried
play
it up a little bit. Which
literally, all you had to do for me was do you want to challenge? Fuck!
Yeah, and sometimes things like that, it's he's asking me because there's a reason to. And it's no, that's just the step. I have to give you the option to challenge or bribe, because I need to make sure everyone picks their thing before continuing. Another thing I really like is that if you are left in the dark in a lot of cases, which I can only imagine, because this one made it difficult on me. You guys won. You won.
I don't like that tiebreaker rule.
the reverse tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was opposite and Josh tried way harder than me and then it went to me.
Just because
from the
our
side.
seats are
Yeah,
swapped.
that'd
Right.
be so stabby mean. It's like, oh,
but
cool.
you got the right answer. So it doesn't matter if he tried really hard and you didn't.
And I
Like you both still got the right answer. So the tiebreaker I think makes a little bit of sense because the way the information is displayed and how quickly it is to gather it, and kind of how easy for the most part, the first person kind of has a leg up. She got to go to the location before you did.
Okay.
So it's like she found information that you could not find
first.
So it's like, oh great, I know who it is. So if a tiebreaker, it's like you kind of had a leg up from doing 4 actions before the other person. Or hell, that's only in a 2-player game. Imagine a 4-player game where like the 3 other people get to the archived cards first, and the 4th person's like, okay, I guess I'll just talk to these people. So then if they happen to get it just as well, they kind of were at a disadvantage because they didn't get to see those cards.
Yeah.
So if they figured it out just as much as everyone else did, the tiebreaker would go to them. That's how I view it anyway. But I can see a lot of people not liking it. And it all comes down to how the Chisel wants to play. What?
I can just imagine a scenario where the Chisel wants to just be an asshole, and it's like, I don't fucking play.
Yeah, and actually, hold on. Speaking of which,
Does it say something about that?
It does. It does
Good,
actually.
Good.
The second way to play the role of the Chisel is to try and win at all costs. Keep the detectives in the dark as long as possible and use all the tools at your disposal to frustrate and delay them. If by the end of the game none of them are even close to the correct solution, you've done your job well. While all players are different, we have generally found that playing the Chisel in this manner can often result in a frustrating and dissatisfying game for the detectives.
Well, I'm glad it at least says it.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine playing this game as a Chisel being an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, you give people misdirection to make it fun and be like, oh, okay. Because whenever I was seeing some of the reactions, whenever, you know, I want to ask him about this, and I was like, oh, Charlie says D did it. That could be fun. And then you go and ask D, and then I was like, oh, he's going to talk about Charlie. So now you have to try and
What's
figure...
he say about Charlie?
He said...
Do not rat on Charlie.
He said, you've been around, you know how the mob works. I say anything and I'm as dead as that broad.
That's what he said to me.
Yeah, no, that's
that what he
the
said
right
to Josh?
answer. Yeah, he challenged him.
I challenged it.
Because
gotcha.
I gave him, Charlie isn't an angel, but he isn't a killer either. Scout's honor, he's not the one that took out that dame.
Gotcha.
And then
Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie, whenever he asked about, where is it? Oh yeah, whenever Josh asked Charlie about D, I gave him, you want the truth? D's the one who shot Sally, right in the back. So, you have a lot of options based off of it. None of you asked about why she was a drug addict. None of you asked about her gun. None of you asked about her.
How do we ask about... Yeah, we asked about her.
Some of you did, yeah.
Yeah. How do we ask that she's, like, why she's a drug addict? How do we...
You would have.
It's F.
Yeah, you probably would have said F.
Oh, Josh.
I asked about A.
Yeah.
I thought somebody asked about
You want to
F.
hear something really funny? This is why I thought it was hilarious. Every single one of Dumb's options are the right answer.
Aww.
He has no
So
misleading...
he's just dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
After that first one, I'm like,
because you asked him about his brother, and he's like, D like me and me like D. D also like Angie. You know Angie. He like her like Dumb like hot dogs.
Aww.
When they said that to me, I'm like, he's either really good at misdirection or he's really bad.
That's why
dumb.
I challenged it, because I asked him about the gun, and he was like, bang! Or it was like, shiny bang bang! And I was like, I'm gonna challenge this just in case.
Yeah, another really good thing about this game is they actually made the characters seem like fleshed out as much as possible.
I like that.
Oh my god, I fucking searched D, and he's like, you're just gonna search me. No warrant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I forgot that she searched him.
So, the reason why I didn't give you the search location is because I actually forgot that, because on the back, these are special ones, like locations had been searched, and so those are the ones that I would hand you. So I was looking for that on the back of these, and it doesn't say that for every location. So I was like, whenever I was looking, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. And so there's 96, because they are special ones. 100 you could have gone to, 96, 43, and then the other 2 guys, and then all other locations. So if you had searched fucking 24 for whatever reason,
Just says nothing's there.
it would have been like you don't find anything of note in your frustration. You decide to take your anger out on a local wise guy, and you receive a scratch.
Oh,
So
I'm gonna beat the shit out of some poor guy.
yeah, he's a wise
guy.
guy.
I'm gonna steal your fucking
Let's do
lunch money.
fisticuffs.
Stupid. So you just verbally told me.
The only thing that I got wrong up until you read the epilogue was I figured Charlie gave the gun directly to Dumb.
Gotcha.
And he gave it to D, and D gave it to Dumb.
Yep. And he's like, clean it up, and then Dumb wouldn't stop about talking about the bang bang.
I figured Charlie, just give it to Dumb. Here, play with this.
Right. No, the other thing that I really, really liked about this game, and I kind of touched on it a little bit, was just how accessible the information is. If one person's doing well, you can be like, hey, I'm going to pay you to scratch to figure out what you know. Like, it doesn't even have to be something about that they're personally carrying. Like, it could be, oh, hey, Josh has knowledge about that, then you can ask him about that, and then you would also know. It just seems like they did a really good job of making sure that people who are really good at this game don't completely blow it out of the water for people who aren't really good at these kinds of games. It's just a little weird. And I think it's more weird just because we recorded the game.
Oh,
yeah. It was
yeah.
very noticeable of how quiet it was. I think if we were just playing regularly, we would have probably had some, noir music, and then
Very much
it would have
so.
just been it would have been more interesting, and then, try to ham it up as much as possible.
I mean, I think it did a really good job with the newsboy.
The newsboy.
At the beginning.
Oh, at the beginning, the one.
Extra!
Charlie Bugs killed another broad.
Which I was right!
You were right. That's why I was sitting there like, oh yeah, okay.
I mean, this is just so funny.
But yeah, they have multiple. Like this was the first case, and I think there's let's see, let me look at. So that one's Gumshoe. That one's Gumshoe. So there are 3 easy cases.
The rest are veteran.
Then it moves to veteran. And then I think there's 1, 2, 3. There's 3 veteran, and then 4 veteran with the expansion, and 6 hard boiled. Because 3. Yeah, I think 6 hard boiled.
Jesus.
All
right,
let's do it. Which I mean, and I definitely we haven't tried it with
I'd probably like this more on the
on
cooperative.
the sleuth one.
That's the whole reason I like detective games.
Right. Because there it is.
It's
So let's see what it says. This is accomplished with the aid of a paragraph book called the Sleuth Casebook, which includes hundreds of responses written specifically for this version of the game. Detectives will still need to determine when suspects are lying and when they are telling the truth, but instead of the Chisel choosing which response the suspect gives, players will be instructed to read a specific paragraph in the Sleuth book. So, yeah, I mean, it could easily work out really well. I would very much like to try. I want to try it on an easy one, because with those it's okay. Because I mean, I would very much like to try this on a hard boiled.
Yeah, so we had 6 days
and that was because, and the only reason is because each case has special rules, and this one in particular was, since this is the introductory case, it is intended to be shorter. Typically, you have 9 days in a 2 detective player game.
Gotcha.
To figure it out, but since this was the first one, it goes to 6. I like the use of scratch like that. Those are very, very helpful, goons, to ensure that you're getting the right answer.
I'm gonna look up why it's called scratch. I'm gonna make sure what I said was right.
Yeah, and then officer, you just go and then you don't have to pay someone else. Snitch was super useful.
Yeah, remembering these were the most difficult part about being a detective.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's also interesting and thematic, because the example they gave in the rule book was, someone had just enough money to snitch, but they chose not to. But the information that someone got is oh, I get to look at card F, and it's oh man, I wish I had bribed. And now it's now they have to go out of their way to do that, and but they still pay the money.
Yeah, now since they didn't snitch, they have to waste another turn to go to a precinct and then pay a cop to figure out what you found out.
Yep. Or go and kickback.
Kickback.
At a mob location and get your money. It's just, this is really good. And my biggest, here's the next question. Between Detective, Mythos Tales, I guess, is another one.
I'm waiting for that video to come up.
Chronicles of Crime and all that. Do you think that this warrants owning?
Between all of those?
Since I own all of them, I own all Sherlock's, I own Detective, I own Chronicles of Crime, and I own Mythos Tales. Do you think this is worth having in that same collection? Because that was my biggest concern. Detective and Chronicles came out last year, in 2018, and I knew this was on its way at some point, and I was like, I'm worried that those two games being so good that this one is going to be wow, another one. I know my answer.
Yes.
You think yes?
I think you should keep this.
I think it's worth keeping it.
Well, not me personally. I just mean in general. Do you think if someone owns those games, do you think that they should also own this one?
If they're into having a competitive nature of it, yes, very much so.
I agree. I'm definitely keeping it. I very much liked it. At first, I was like, man, I really don't like being the Chisel, but I'm also never the DM, and I don't like stuff like that. So, like Devin.
He might love this.
Relish at being the Chisel,
I would like to play the Chisel.
And you as well, because you guys DM. I like being in the story. I don't like knowing the story.
I like doing both.
Yeah, especially because, and who knows, and that's why I said I want to try a hard-boiled one, because I could have a lot more fun. There's a lot more options. It's easier for me because the case is a lot more difficult to solve. So the easier the case, the harder it is for the Chisel, and vice versa. So, who knows, I might very much like being the Chisel in a harder one because I get to play around more. There wasn't really a whole lot of options for me to give once I kind of figured out, oh, you probably know it, there's 3 people to fucking talk to.
Yeah, limited amount of suspects.
Limited amount of locations and weapons and...
There were 2 weapons, and then the victim was a drug addict.
Yeah.
It was pretty easy to piece together after I figured out that gun, and after I went to solve, and I was almost 100% sure that if it came down to it, it was either D or Muggs. And
right, and that's usually how it's going to be. But like looking at the next gumshoe one, there's way more options already from that. So, and a lot more ways to mess with you. A lot like in that there is what is 1, 2, 3, 4, 55. That's 55 in the grid, and they all have multiple responses, whether to misdirect and lie. And so, I will say this game, if you choose to be the Chisel, you have to know the game inside and out, and you also have to know that scenario inside and out, just like you would a scenario in a D&D book. Because it's like, well, I want to answer this, and there are a lot of times where it's like, okay, how do they respond? But that's fine. Like, it's not like I have to know. I'll just show this one since we just did it. That's what it looks like. The red's misdirection and lies, and the black is the most useful answer. And I also really like that. I like how how accessible and easy the game actually is. But I also like how the most useful answer isn't always like, aha! Because it could have easily been that. It could have been like, wow, D said this about the gun? Well, that tells me the answer right away. Because it doesn't. I mean, I don't even know what he says about the gun. Oh, that's a dame's little pea shooter. She stuck it in my face and threatened me if I didn't give her the dope. That's when she got popped in the back. And so people could have been like, oh, he shot her. But then it's like, oh, it's in the back. Well, then it couldn't have been him.
Yeah. I was like, well, it has to be a second person.
It's just really, really neat. And things like that, yeah. And in the beginning case, you're like, okay, it wasn't D, so there's only 2 other people, and Cat, it's not like your initial answer was like, fucking idiot.
I think my story was fantastic. It was heartwarming.
It made sense. Some people might not like this based off the restrictive nature of questioning, but
I'd like to question A about B or whatever.
Yeah, like
suspect 1.
Yeah, it's very on the nose. But I think that if you want extensive questioning like that, play Detective, a modern crime board game, or Chronicles of Crime, because you can gather information and go back and scan them.
I really like both of those.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I gave them scores when we played them.
You did not, because we had not recorded them. We just played it.
That's correct.
But yeah, no, this game is really good, and I'm very happy with it. This was also a Kickstarter game.
It reeks.
Couldn't tell.
It reeks.
You couldn't tell, could ya?
No, I really couldn't. It's fantastic.
They made another Kickstarter game called The Big Score, which was about the heist. The
Yeah, we
heist
played
game.
it.
That one's a lot of fun too.
It's the only game I've ever won until now.
Oh yeah, you did win this one, but I wasn't competing against you. So
But
it's a false victory. No, I'm kidding.
Where's the tally sheet?
I'm actually gonna look up how much this costs.
$10.
A big complaint is the tiebreaker thing. I realize if more players just for this particular situation, that feels real shitty.
Right, but I mean, since it's not a cooperative game, it makes sense to not be like, you both win.
Yeah.
I mean, and at the end of the day, like, and the only reason there was a tiebreaker is because you both got it right. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
No.
Like, Kat could be like, I still got it. Like, but if she got like, her answer was still 0 out of 3, it's like, okay, well, you didn't win. But
where's my participation reward?
I also really like the suspense, is because it even told me not to say who won until after I read the epilogue. Because you'd be like, wait, so who got it? But through at least that one in particular, you could most likely be like, yeah, okay, it tells me right then and there who did it. There it is. I paid $89 for this.
I would say just for the voice acting alone, that's pretty good.
And I didn't even know that was a thing. It was just like, hey, instead of reading the thing, just go to our website and we have professional voice recording, which that was really, really good.
Yeah, I really like that.
And I'm glad, because I thought, because in the thing, it tells me when to flip cards and when to get everything set up. I was really worried that it was going to say that. Like, it was going to be like, some dame named Sally Foote got a lead salad with no dessert. Shit like that. I love those, like, those one-liner things. Mm-hmm. Those are great. But then I thought it was going to be like, flip case card, A, and I'd like it would break the tension. But whenever it didn't do that, I was like, oh shit, I need to...
You're fighting.
And I was sitting there like, where's 99? Where's
96 at?
We were trying to help you, we're like, what?
It's right there.
Yeah, I was totally missing it. But yeah, like, I can't really think of anything else. Like, they did a really good job with the response cards and just the little packets. Like, here you go. Only you can see it, so you don't accidentally see other things.
I like the variance in card size. I like the artwork.
Yeah, the artwork is really nice.
I like even though it's like your typical, like, cardboard stuff, I do like it. It looks printed correctly.
Yeah. The other thing I really like...
The player aids are
Speaking
nice.
of which none of you opened this. You have the casebook. Like, don't look at the other ones. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter if you're... But, like, yeah, you have a casebook, and it tells you, like, what it says.
I like the player aid on the back.
It is really nice on the back.
This is, like, typical cardboard.
But yeah, which we didn't even read this. Yeah, because I think this is just available to you.
That would make sense.
Yeah, you would have had the casebook and none of you opened it, which I didn't realize till just now.
I never did it, and Nancy Drew, not about to. No.
So scale of 1 to 10, Cat, because yours should probably be lower than both ours.
14. No.
14 out of 10.
I mean, I don't want to rate it too low. I just dislike the I dislike the competitive nature. But knowing that it does have a co-op option, brings it back to life. I'll give it based off of the easiest game, it's kind of hard.
Right.
I'll give it a 7.
Okay.
For what it is and what it does. I personally didn't like it as a competitive game. I would like to see what it's like as a co-op game, or maybe competitive with more people. I don't know if that would also make it worse or if it would make it better.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
You never know.
How it would work. I don't know. I think with the competitive nature with this style game, I think it would work great at any number,
Yeah.
like in all reality, because movement is not a hassle. So
It's really
not
not.
like if a person's over here and then there's another one over here, it's not like it's gonna take forever to just be like, oh, it's gonna take me 5 turns to get over there. No, it's just like boom, 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 and then you're there, which is great. I'm so glad they made it that easy instead of like, oh, you have 4 ways to move or any of that. It's just like, look, you can get to your people. The game is not about how you're gonna finagle moving. It's about how you interact with the suspect and solve the case.
Yeah.
There's just a little stuff around it. Kind of like Detective has the same thing. Like traveling costs an hour, and you're like, oh crap. Okay, so we have to think about that. Then we have to go into overtime.
I love the day to day.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll give it a 7.
Okay, Josh.
For right now.
I'm gonna give it a 8.5.
An 8.5. I think I'm at an 8.5 as well, with definite potential to go up.
Oh yeah.
But I think based off right now, 8.5, because I was teetering on the Chisel, then I liked it at the end.
Once you found your
Say,
groove.
Yeah, because I was trying to be like, oh, Joe, like, because it gave me 2 options on how to beat the Chisel. I'm like, oh, I'll just be generic and helpful. But then I'm like, well, Josh already probably figured it out. Cat's not anywhere close. Oh, I'll just be more difficult on Josh, and then so he'll get the challenge, and
which I was welcoming.
Right. So I like the flexibility that this game provides.
I like it too.
Yeah.
I also like the one solve thing, because that reminds me of Deception, Murder, and Non-Cog. It's like, because if you get it right, if you're like, I like to solve on my turn, and you get it right, that ends the game, and you won. And I'll read the epilogue. That's a lot of tension, because at any moment, someone could be like, I'm going to solve, and you could be like, crap, I was going to solve on my next turn. But if everyone's wrong, then it goes to final guess, and everyone gets another chance, but then you have to figure it out. And if none of you got it right, then I would have been like, boop, case cold. Another negative that people could have is that you could never play this again.
Yeah.
But you can do that. That's with all of them. Like, they're all that way. So, and I would argue and be like, that sucks, but I have not even finished the first fucking Sherlock Holmes box.
I was gonna say, like, if you didn't have as many games as we do,
That's true.
Humble brag. But if you,
First world problem.
I know my game room is just not big enough.
For all my games.
I have to get another shelf from IKEA. If you didn't have like as much to do, or just a constant influx of just new games, then yeah, I can see like, oh, I can't play this again. Like, that's kind of lame.
Yeah,
but,
like I only have
honestly,
9 times to play it.
But if you're casual like that, like if you're casual, if you're just playing it to have a good time, like how often are you really getting it to the table?
Exactly.
So like even if you play these over a year, how many did you say there were? 13, 14?
There's 13
13 total.
Total. So break that up. I mean,
once a month.
Play one once a month at a big game night, and you have one for the new year. So, I mean,
yeah.
And to me, that's worth it.
Yeah.
And I will say this, even though I gave it a lower score than you guys, that voice acting alone was really fucking good.
Really good. He did a really good job. I don't know who they got, but when they said professional, I thought they were like professional in house. It was the designer.
They really, yeah. He had a smooth ass voice.
Yeah.
He practiced.
But and you're right. So some people, but like I said, there's 10 cases in the first Sherlock Holmes box, and we've done at this point I think we've done 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
And that came out years ago, and there's 2
quite a
other
while.
big boxes with 10 in each of them. So then there's the Detective, and then there's Chronicles of Crime, and there's just so much to this that, and I guarantee you, people aren't running to the fucking table to play these insane like, we're not getting it.
Right,
games.
like I just got off of work and I want to think.
Yeah, so that's never a negative on my end, but 8.5.
It's not good enough to be a 9, but it is far better than an 8.
Yeah, it could easily be a 9 depending on other cases and things like that. But
I
will say in relation to Detective and Chronicles, this does not.
This, as of right now, does not beat them.
It does not. But I really think that cooperative nature is really cool. I think it's a really cool twist. Because whenever I was looking at this, I was like, you know, it'd be a really neat table RPG? A detective sleuth style game.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of any tabletop RPGs. They're all high fantasy or high sci-fi or, you know, weird mythological stuff. None of them are actually ever set in real world stuff like this. And this essentially does that. And I think that's a really cool twist on it. So, that's it everyone. That's our thoughts on Detective City of Angels. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this, and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button below to enjoy any video that I put out. And right next to that subscribe button is a little bell. Click that so you get notified of whenever I actually upload these videos. If you want to support the channel, you can definitely visit my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.